I'm Amy DeVroon and welcome to Year of the Selfie podcast. 2020 has been a mad year thus far, a year where we've really had to take a look at ourselves. As a self-help nut, this hasn't been hugely out of the ordinary for me, but what has been so unusual is watching an entire creative industry grind to a halt in front of my very eyes. The link between creativity and mental health has always fascinated me, so I wanted to go deeper. In a world where we so often equate success with fame, it can be easy to forget the reason behind it all. Creativity. This unique, inexplicable gift. The thing we do where we lose all sense of time. The thing that lifts our hearts even in the darkest of moments. The thing that many of us feel we were put on this earth to do. So every week I'm going to talk to my guests about just that. Their creativity. Their highs and lows, and where they find their creativity when it feels like there's nowhere to put it. On today's podcast, we have none other than Paul Reid, Irish actor, friend to the people, an all-round good guy. You're going to like this one, guys. Enjoy. So, Paul Reid, welcome to Year of the Selfie podcast. Yay!
Yeah.
For anyone who can't see, we're clapping our hands like little, I don't know, dolphins.
Oh, yeah, I forgot, yeah.
No, not dolphins. What is the thing that seal? Like a seal.
Seals.
We've started off well already.
Yeah.
So Paul is an actor and a pal because we've worked together a few times, which is really nice. So I guess when I was thinking of people to have on, the reason kind of, Paul, you came to mind is because I think I've said this to you about 100 times. I've even said it in interviews, so it's actually a bit embarrassing at this stage. But I remember seeing you in Man of Valour and it just blew me away. Like it blew me away. And it's a standout performance just in Irish theatre in my mind. Anyway, in my opinion. And so I always knew you were very creative. And then you draw, do you sing? You do everything. You're very, anyway. So I just thought you were kind of a no-brainer. And you're also very open, as you just said before we came on, you're too honest.
That's what I'm worried
so you
about.
have to pull yourself back. I'll be getting you fired from any job you've
fucker. There's no jobs anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not for a long time, it seems.
Yeah, I know.
At least we're doing this. So
Well, thanks
so
for
how
having
are
me.
you? Not at all. And how are you actually coping? Are you in London, yeah?
I'm in London.
Better not be down the road, yeah? Okay, grand.
No, I'm in London. Getting on grand. We're in, like, obviously, I was thinking about, obviously the COVID times are really strange, and then the Black Lives Matter movement as well. I've been like deep in that this week. So I've been watching loads of interviews. Almost too much because you can overdo it, I think, as well, because my head's melted now with all that.
Yeah.
With too many interviews and that stuff. But yeah, it's been like fucking eye opener. But before that, on the COVID side of things, I put a lot of pressure on myself at the start, like loads of people do. To go, this is my time to write a book. This is my moment. Of all the times, I wanted to get fit. I wanted to have a routine, and actors are so obviously not used to having many routines. Many a routine. But I put a lot of pressure on myself. I think, like a lot of other creative people did, to get stuff finally done. So I got a lot of it done. I got loads done in the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I mean, we're months in now, but then I kind of tailed off, and then I had to keep reminding myself, and with the help of podcasts and with the help of different kind of chats I had with people, of not putting too much pressure on myself and actually taking the time to chill out. And
because it's almost like we need to be a bit quiet or something. I felt like that. I felt the need to like listen or something and sit in it. And I was even saying before in an interview myself, sit in the kind of, because as an actor, well, I always feel my identity is a bit tied in with my job. And I was like, God, what is it if we're not working? Like, what is this going to mean? Like, and who are we now? Like, are we fucked? Like,
What's your value and stuff like that? I was coming to terms with a lot of that stuff. And then luckily before all this, I was writing. I was working on a lot of stuff, writing wise, but there was two things with theatre. One, mainly I was really like making strides on, and I was genuinely enjoying it. I don't enjoy the actual, not the practical, but the literally sitting and typing. I'm so impatient.
Yeah.
Because it's all in my head, and we'll probably come to Man of Valour as well, but with stuff like that and the corn exchange. But I'm used to thinking on my feet and being real quick with improv and doing stuff like that. But when you do that and then you have to go, oh, that's a great idea, and then you go to write it, you just go, what the fuck? What was I saying? And it loses the momentum, or loses the gag, or loses whatever I was doing. So, and
would you try and almost edit yourself as you're writing? Because I think, like, I know with me, there's certain things, like if I have a project that there's no kind of beginning, middle, or end, like I know it's just a stream of consciousness, and I know I'll probably it'll develop into something. I can write loads and then tidy it up. But if I'm trying to fit it into a box, I can't.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think.
I'm editing. I'm like, as I'm trying to write it down, I'm going, no, that line doesn't sound right already before it's even landed on the page. Like.
Yeah, but like you've way more experience than me at that and at writing and just, as you're saying, just throwing it out there, just getting it out. Someone called it a word vomit. I've always hated that phrase, but it is a word vomit. Yeah, it's like, oh, with all the ideas. But it is, to having the freedom to do that and having being able to let go in order to do that, I think is really valuable. And there's I've loads of notes on my phone, I've loads of voice notes where I come up with something really quick. I'm constantly coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a hindrance as well, because it just gets in the way of this thing that I'm meant to be working on. And then I go, oh, well, what about this thing? Yeah. So I'm constantly seeing images, constantly taking snapshots with my mind of loads of different things, but it's almost overwhelming sometimes for me.
Yeah. So like, you're like a good idea, like you're an ideas man. I feel like,
I have a million ideas for different things. Yeah.
And would you procrastinate? Would you actually be like, oh no, I'll just... And actually, procrastination is probably, the other ideas are probably a bit of procrastinating in a way, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Funny, I was listening to a psychologist talk about procrastination there the other day. I'm podcast mad. I love podcasts. So I listen to loads. I'll send that on to you. But it's really good. And they were talking about procrastination and different people and different types and creative people and more linear thinking, whatever. And I do a lot of... Yeah, I procrastinate a lot, but that's where I seem to find, if I could I have a little football game on my iPad, right? And I could play that for hours, no problem. But by the end of it, I go, okay, I'm ready to write something now. Because it feels like I've filtered or settled all the madness into something. And so that actually zones me out. And I wouldn't be, I'd be concentrating on winning the game, or whatever it is, the computer game, or if I draw a picture or zone out and finishing a picture that's more technical than artistic, I could do that for hours. And then by the end of it, my creative flow or whatever would have settled a bit. And then I can go, okay, now it's my focus. But I've always been bad at that. Yeah.
Or it's almost like meditating then. Like if you'd meditated and then gone into it, or isn't there The Artist's Way, that book? I remember I did it years ago. I love that. Like the morning pages, you get all your shite out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That for me was a life, like, this is not my interview, but that for me was a life changer, The Artist's Way. I remember, Yeah. But
again, see, I'm thinking of a million things at once, but The Artist's Way, the book has come up, I don't know how many times, probably because of the times we're in as well, but I don't know how many times I've seen it. People posting it on their socials.
Socials.
and stuff like that I go, oh, fucking hell, I've never got that book. And I think I've been a bit afraid of getting it in a weird way.
Yeah, it's a commitment, because it's like, it's a certain amount of weeks, but actually this is probably a good time for it. And it's like in the morning, like you do morning pages in the morning. It's just like you write 3 fool's cap pages of just shite that's in your head. And it's basically, they're saying that in the morning, it's just clearing all that crap to then do something. And then, things like an artist state, you take yourself out in an artist state. And I loved that, because at the time I was like, I just out of drama school and I was in London. So you're kind of a bit lonely. So you're like, you have an excuse then to be going places.
I've gone on loads of dates with myself though. Like,
Look, love going on dates with myself.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sound. Soundest person I know, so it's cool.
I'm lucky to have me.
Yeah.
But like, what would scare you about doing The Artist's Way? Is it the Is it the commitment of it? Because is it the sitting down to actually do the project like that you're,
Yeah, maybe. I think I've always had an issue. I've definitely always had an issue with a kind of authority, which is kind of hilarious because, I'm an actor and I work with directors and writers and I you need to take direction and you need to do all that stuff.
And you seem pretty amenable, like in work. Do you know what I mean? In work mode, I don't.
Yeah,
like directors, I've never seen you sort of be like, "Fuck you," no.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably have. So it's kind of like being told. I remember because I draw and paint and stuff. Don't paint as much these days, but in school I finished a picture which was an abstract and it was totally, and it's not bigging myself up. I just was into art more than other people in my class.
Yeah,
and I knew the history of stuff. I was just into it. Like other people were into different things in my class, obviously, in school. But so I was doing abstract, like fucking Picasso-y kind of look and yolks because I was into it and I was exploring that side of painting and drawing, and when other people were just kind of drawing the thing that was in front of them. And then I went up to my teacher. I always remember as a moment, and I went up to my teacher and said, "Okay, I'm finished this." And he goes, "No, you're not. You have to fill the page. That's your example." And I was really hot-headed in school. I got so angry and I left. I walked out of class and all that stuff, whatever. And but I remember thinking, I'm being restricted in I think art is freedom and art is, so don't let anyone tell you how to do art. But maybe that's why with the Artist's Way and stuff and advice from different artists on how to do things, I've been a bit like, hang on, no, I'm just letting shit happen. I'm just letting
I know. Okay, I get you.
But you do need structure. And I mean, that's why I went to train as an actor eventually, because
I was going to ask, how did you find training then? Because
I loved it.
You in the kind of, there was a kind of, you were in, the Gaiety School of Acting.
Yeah, the Gaiety.
Sorry, I love the way I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
I just one of those dramas. But I feel like weren't you in a kind of a weird like glory period there? Like there was a lot of you have done really well. Like from your particular year, I think.
Our year we actually had a Zoom quiz the other night with a few heads, but yeah, it was more our year. Like most people are still working in this game, like somehow, in different capacities, like music and writing and different variations. But or went on to study a bit deeper and stuff. In that, it was a really, really great year. There was, I'm not going to name people because I suppose Aidan Turner would be like the star. Obviously, he's done very well, and loads of other people. But we had a very high standard in our class. Yeah. So when I went to train, I did. Like acting for camera, and then because I was more into behind the scenes, and I think from Sean's interview I heard the other day, I had the exact same experience. It's funny because I thought I was really unique in it, and I would see Jurassic Park.
I think so did he. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was listening, going, "That's my story," and then I was listening to, I was watching Mandalorian on Disney Channel. They have these kind of behind the scenes thing, and they're all talking about when they saw Jurassic Park, and that was a game changer. I was like, no, that's my stuff.
You're like, I'm such a cliche.
Yeah, but I walked out of that cinema and I went, I want to do that. I didn't want to be in it. I just wanted to be part of it. I wanted to be, I don't know how I wanted to be part of it, but I wanted to know how they did it and all this stuff. Anyway, so I was obsessed. And I went to the cinema. God, I used to get 2 or 3 buses to the cinema on my own, like to go see it. I saw it, I don't know how many times. And I picked it apart, every inch of it in my mind, and sat in all these different seats. I remember I used to sit in a different seat each time to kind of see if I could see something different.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was weird. But so I knew I wanted to be in the business, and there's a long story how I got in. But when I went to the Gaiety, I knew, and I was paying money for it, which I actually got for an ad, which I blagged, but that's a different story. But I was paying money, and I also had a bit of life experience. I went traveling as well and stuff. So when I started, I was like, no one in my family had done it either. So I was gone, if I'm here, I'm committing. I'm committing to what they're teaching me. Yeah. I'm all in. And I never understood, there were people in class and various classes and rehearsal rooms as a professional then later on, where people weren't committing to a certain way of the class, like a warm-up, say, and people were going, what are we doing a warm-up for? And I was like, well, why are you here? What's the point of being here? Yeah. Particularly in class and college. So, jump in the deep end. If anyone's starting that kind of stuff or listening, you have to jump in the deep end. What's the point? Yeah. So I actually loved the discipline, and it gave me, I was never on time.
Yeah.
No, I know I wasn't on time for this, but I usually am.
Paul was a few minutes late. He was setting up for this
Let's get my
interview
shirt
here.
on.
Yeah, exactly. I was saying it felt like I was waiting for a date to arrive. I was getting all nervous. I was like, will he show? Will he not?
Put on aftershave and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, sorry, it gave me discipline that I actually wanted, and I knew I wanted, and I was very aware. And I remember one of the people in the reception, I was walking by her, and she's like, "You're always smiling," and I was like, "That's because I want to be here." I just knew.
Yeah.
I was like, "Because I want to be here." And the people were miserable, and they didn't know what they wanted from it, but I knew exactly what I wanted from it, and I got exactly what I wanted from it.
Yeah.
Which was great, and it's something I remind myself quite a lot of.
Yeah.
Know what you want when you're going into something, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
But be open
actually.
to change within there, and you know. Anyway,
that's good advice. Actually, know what you want when you're going into it, because God, you get so much more out of it if you do. And if you're willing to be adaptable then within those structures, but it's again like having the structure, you know, like
having some kind of boundaries, and it was great, and I learned so much. And I hated theatre. I was so bored of theatre. I was like, I don't want to be anywhere near theatre. I want to do film. I want to direct. I want to do stuff in film.
Because did you do a lot of theatre in the beginning? Because I know you do both, but I feel like, were you starting in telly, or did you actually end up doing a lot of theatre first?
No, I did loads of theatre. I actually got a film and a play before I even left college, which was insane. It was mental. But I was under no impression that this was it now. This is the business, because I just kind of knew, and I knew from friends from previous years and stuff like that. I was like, it's much harder. I'm very, very lucky. I was very aware of that. And I think that's probably why I enjoyed it more, because I was like, this is mad. I know of half my class, most of my class are not working right now, and I'm working. Yeah. I'm in the mix now. I'm getting in this circle. But I did a lot of theatre. I got Boy Eats Girl was a zombie movie, which I made lifelong friends in, and Stephen Bradley directed, and Derek Landy wrote. Yeah, it was amazing. It was just the best crack ever. And like Tyg Murphy, Mark Huberman, Donald Gleeson, Lawrence Kinlan, Samantha Mumma, Sarah James, Sarah Burke, like all these people are very, we're all very close still, you know? It was an amazing moment, not for my career, for my life, I think, but not really for my career, you know? So, but then I did a lot of theatre, and I just was involved in theatre, and I loved it. I was out on the road, I was slugging it, like, you know.
So what was the turning point that made you like it? As in, like, I'm sure, were you not that interested in it even when you were training, and then when you were out on the road, you're like, actually, this is great crack, or? Yeah,
I think, no, we went to see a play every week in the Gaiety, which I loved. I would never have done that in real life, you know?
Yeah.
We went every week, and on the Tuesday morning we come in and critique it. And I was always like, I didn't like the critique part. I like to go home and just have my own thoughts on it. But it was important that we break it down sometimes. And if someone didn't like something I did and blah, 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 I'd be like, But I think I just got to appreciate it a lot more. That's all, just from experience, going to see it. And witnessing it, really. And then when I got to do it, I realized how hard it is to, even if it's like, I've been in some shit stuff as well, like everyone, it's really hard. It's really, really hard, you know? And I got to appreciate that side of things. And so when it's good, it's great, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually hard. Yeah, it's harder. I think it's harder to watch someone in a bad play, actually. Or that I think is because you feel so bad, because you know they're putting the exact same amount of work into that as they would if it was getting loads of, like, you know, if it was doing well.
And they probably know, and they have to go back the next night. It's booked you're a month or 2 weeks, whatever you're doing. You have to go every night. You get a shoot review, you're like, back on tonight, and I've just been told I'm crap.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah, and some of them are I remember now this for one woman but I always say it. What's your woman? Your woman who?
Emer O'Kelly.
Yeah, Emer O'Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the way my microphone cut off. My microphone, is my microphone cut off? Say my just as I said the name Emer O'Kelly, my microphone just cut out. My spirit is here. Yeah. But I think she said something about me like Amy DeVroon seems to be doing. Amy DeVroon is doing something she seems to think is important.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that was one of your own. You wrote it as well. I wrote
it. It was a one-woman show. And I was in the theatre upstairs, and Carl was just like, look, we expected this. She was never going to like you.
Yeah.
Get out there, and, you know, but it was like, oh my God. I was like, People think, you know, yeah. So it's like, it is that terrible feeling of trying to,
trying to not think of that the next night is hard. And I was told by Emo Kelly that some better play I did with Fishamble, but he doesn't seem to know what he does with his hands, and his hands are very large. And I do have big hands. But
like, thank you.
Yeah. But the next night I was like, not the next night, the rest of the run I was just, and probably other plays, I was like,
that's
I
your
have
thing
to get these out of the way. Which maybe is why I got into more mimey stuff in the end.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of worked.
It. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, is it? I don't know if he coined the phrase, but is it Thomas Kane Burns calls it the Katie Hopkins of Irish theatre? I don't know if he coined it, but
amazing.
I've seen it, and I was like, nailed it.
Yeah, wow.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Fuck,
I've only seen him write that online, like, you know, I've just seen, but so I don't know who coined it, but it could be, it is hard to get up after. Oh God.
But it takes people like Carl, God rest him, like that's Carl Shields you're talking about. It takes people like him, like champions, to bring you along. And I've always felt that. I've always felt very, very welcome. Always.
Yeah.
I know people haven't felt as lucky as that, but I've always felt very welcome. And by the older, I say older, I mean, they could be just a year older. They could be the same age, but they got out a year before me in college. But the different kind of, you know, generations as well. And it takes champions like that to bring you along and to say stuff like, "Oh, fuck it." You're going on anyway, so just keep going. And I work with loads of younger actors. Obviously, I'm a bit older now, but I'm always aware that I have to pay that forward. I have to. Is that the right phrase? Pay forward.
Yeah, pay it forward. And I think you do, because it's so funny. Yeah, I was saying recently, I was at a recall, and there was three actors in there, me and two others, and I was going, and I mentioned you, and they're like, you know Paul, like everyone's like, you know Paul, and it's like, but it does seem to, like, I know, but in a good way. But it is like, you do seem to like let out your positivity or spread it around. They sounded gross. Spread a bit of Paul around.
Why not? But because it's helped me so much, other people have just been like, come on.
Is there anybody that you're like that kind of, because I always think, and I saw somebody else had posted with the Carl Shields thing, he was going, he gave me a shot when no one would. And I felt like that about him, particularly in Ireland, and particularly with my writing. But have you ever felt like that with anybody in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, well, the likes of Carl, like, you know, he came up to me after I did a play, which wasn't brilliant, and I'm not going to say what theatre, but as we were saying, he saw me trying, like he saw me really, like going for it, you know, like box to box, football. I refer everything to football. Like I was running up and down the pitch all day, that kind of phrase. But and he put a big arm around me at the bar and just goes, anytime, he goes, you're brilliant in this. Don't worry about that. I don't even want to talk about this play because we both know. And I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, it was just a nice way of saying, we both know this isn't great.
Yeah.
You're working hard. And he said, anytime you want the space, ever.
Yeah.
Like it's yours. The space. And he goes, and if there's a play in there at the time, I will make sure you have somewhere to create something new. And he was a big fan of the Man of Valour show as well. And since then, I think he was very, very supportive of me. But there's been loads, countless. I don't even know where to start. Countless people have put their arm around me.
But speaking of Man of Valour, because we'll have to talk about it at some point. Did you have so how did it come about, and how did you don't worry, it's not all we'll talk about. I feel like I'm always having this conversation, fangirling over it. But did you know it was like, were you like, fuck, this is really good? Or did you,
No, never. You've probably had it where, with your own shows, where it came about, long story short is, I was doing improv with the Corner Exchange. We're doing a hot seat or hot chair. Jeez, I can't believe I forgot it. Anyway, and it's when people run up and you're either in image, which means you put on the costume, you might have faced the commedia makeup on, sometimes you don't need it, but you're up in image, as they call it, as Annie and Michael and the rest call it. So you get up and you just improv and you just go with it, and you set your space up. You there's nothing there, you've no props, you've nothing, it's just you. Now you can walk in and just stand there and let the audience paint the picture. That's what I love about it. And so you grew up, and I just started doing this particular one guy. And to be honest, I was only ever doing this one guy because there was no shoes that ever fit me. And when I wore a suit, and the suit, that was it as well. There was only one kind of bit of costume that really fit me. Yeah. And I was actually wearing my own school shoes that I donated from years before. And so I got up and I was just doing improv, and it just kind of kept going and going and going. And usually people jump up and stuff like that. And I was just kind of waiting for someone to jump up, and there were amazing players in the room. And I got really nervous and kind of frustrated. And I had a bad day that day as well. And so I just kept going, and I kept doing the scene, and I just kept going with the scene, and I took a mad direction. And then we were all doing long form improv that day anyway. And then I finished it, and then everyone was like, "Oh, cool." And they were really complimentary. But I didn't really understand what happened. I was just like, it was not that I was just in a flow, like loads of times people be in a flow,
Yeah, of course.
And I just kind of went, yeah, okay, cool. But I was having a shit day in real life, so it was just an excuse to kind of get out of my head. And then Annie and Michael said, yeah, come on, do you want to, I think there's something in that, do you want to push with that storyline, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, okay. So anyway, they said, go off and write something. And I went off, and I couldn't write. I think I'm okay, and now I'm getting better. But the way I express myself in any way is usually through art and drawing. So long story short, I came into them when we had this meeting with the production team, and everyone was there, and I had a portfolio of drawings rather than a script. What the fuck is this? And I was like, no, it's cool. But they knew me so well. I already did Dublin by Lamplight with them on a tour. That was
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so rewinding to when I started Dublin by Lamplight while I was in the Gaiety School of Acting.
Yeah.
I saw that at a time. I met mate Maddie Raleigh, who's a director now, a brilliant director and writer, and he convinced me to go to that play. I was quitting school. I was quitting the Gaiety the next morning, and he convinced me to go that night to see.
Why were you quitting the Gaiety the next morning?
Just doing my head in. Again, just people, like I said,
not taking it serious.
I was being told I wasn't taking it seriously, and for me it was.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't as serious as it could have been at the time. I don't know. Maybe it was reverse psychology. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that night I went to this play, and he said, look at the poster, and it was Louis Lovett's face in the mask. And I was like, what is that? It looks right up my, it's like a cartoon or something. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Maddie convinced me to go, and then I went, and I just saw that, and I went, I'm going to do that. And there was no question. And this coming back to your original question. I knew I was going to be doing that. I knew that was for me. I didn't know anyone involved in the company. I didn't know anything to do with the Corn Exchange, but I just knew I was going to be involved.
Yeah.
I just happened. And so then I did workshops and stuff with them, and then they asked me to come on tour as a part in the Dublin by Lamplight. We went to Tasmania and all over England and stuff, and did Dublin by Lamplight. So I ended up being in the show that kind of kept me being an actor.
Yeah.
And then cut to them asking me to do my own version of something, and I just showed them these pictures, and then we just went from there. And so it was all done through improv. So Michael would sit there with the book or with a paper and pen, and Annie would throw in suggestions, and I'd improvise, and Dennis Clohessy on the music and Jack Phelan on the visuals would all chuck in ideas. And the main thing I wanted when I went in there, and the main thing I saw through Dublin by Lamplight, was this teamwork backstage to make just one image happen. And I said, I wanted everything. I wanted it to be a dance. I wanted it to feel like a dance. I'm leading the dance, but everyone else, every department is very much involved in the dance. And it came out that way. But to go back to your question after Waffle Chops there.
No, it's amazing. Because for anyone who hadn't seen it or whatever, but it's like every single movement and sound is done by you. Like, is that fair to say? And there's actually not... Is there it's in my head, there's like dialogue, but there's not dialogue. There's not really. Is there in my head, there's low, like I have like in my head, I know how it feel, like I can feel the words that you were saying, but I don't think you were actually saying anything, were you really?
That was actually one of the things I wanted from it as well. I wanted people to come and feel something, not like the story obviously always matters, but I want people to walk out and go, I don't know what just happened there, but I feel great after seeing. I don't know why, and I don't know when that moment happened. And also, when I first witnessed I say witness because I did witness Dublin by Lamplight. And then when I was eventually in it again in the Abbey, and I playing like the part that Mark O'Halloran created, and then Tom Jordan Murphy, who passed away after we did it in England, I was then playing that part of Martin. I was like, it wasn't me. It did not. Like even memory wise, I think that wasn't me. It was weird.
Yeah.
But I was always blown away by thinking that was the same guy playing two of those parts. Like he just went off stage, someone threw a different wig on him, and that was the same actor. So always at the Dublin by Lamplight bow, everyone would always count, me included, the actors, because you'd be going, there's only what? I thought there was like 15 actors. I felt
like there was more. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted that feeling from Man of Valour as well. Not that they come out and go, how many actors, but the feeling of, oh my God, he was the old woman as well. And that moment he was I saw the Liffey. I was in the Liffey with him. Yeah. And I saw him jump into a toilet, like mad shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
like I saw the office he was working in.
Yeah.
And it was literally lights, wasn't it? Like I was barely any, but your brain just fills out the rest of the information.
Yeah. And that's right.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, this is your, witnessing, it was like when you say witnessing Dublin by Lamplight, I feel like that a lot when I see Corn Exchange, but particularly with Man of Valour, it was witnessing something. It was witnessing something that I was not able to explain, but I remember everybody just rose to their feet at the end. And it was what I love when I see that, because it's not, we're in an Irish theatre, you better stand up because you know somebody, it was kind of this, like everyone just sort of rose, and I just found myself standing, and I was like, I don't even remember standing. Like,
cool. Yeah, and I felt that eventually. Like when you say, did I know anything about it? Like I don't think any of us did. It went through so many different versions and so many different kind of even concepts, like what it was and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it was a lot of it was abstract. And when we did in Cork first, in Cork Everyman. It's a big old theatre, but we had a big house that night, and I never once thought ever, what is this like? I just thought, what will the audience see? I was never, from our point of view, going, what are we putting out there? I just was like, they'll like that. I like that. So that's going to be funny in whatever moment. Until literally, and I think I said before in some magazine thing where I was standing backstage, and we had this music come in. Dennis composed this amazing kind of cinematic score, and it kind of came in, and it goes, whatever. And I was like, holy shit, there's a beat. And then it just hit me in like 2 beats before I jump on stage. I don't even know if this is good. I don't know if this is good. And then I had to jump on.
Consider this. Yeah.
Never considered it once. I was just like I was too busy. I was just too busy.
But I think that's where people, I guess as a performer, your brain should be. Your brain should be with the audience, and should be, your highest priority should be the audience. And that's probably why the audience had such an amazing time, because that completely came through. Whereas in a lot of performances, you get a bit lost in your own ego, or you're forgetting about the audience there, and you're so tied up in your own crap. Forget, so definitely.
And you've done like, one-person shows where you're playing different characters or you're doing different voices, and all I was thinking about was, how believable is it? Yeah. And I was absolutely, and it sounds so wanky really, but when I played Mrs. Nugent, who was this old woman who's loosely based on my grandma and loosely based on a cartoon I used to draw. I was not her. Like, it was so, even thinking about her, I don't see me playing this woman. And I saw a video of her a while ago. I was like, ugh, I couldn't even watch it, because I was like, is that what I look like? Because in my head, is this little old woman, like a cartoon woman. Yeah,
it would kind of ruin because you believe it, you see it. You see it, you almost step into the person or whatever that you're like, that you're going to play.
And I think if you see it as a performer, if you are absolutely convinced that you are 100% committed to that, then the audience see a version of it. Like, as the same way, what did I say before? I wanted to sketch something and let the audience paint it in, let the audience color it in. So I just kind of, even with a cat, I remember someone coming up saying, oh, I love the little ginger cat that, that little cat that got on your shoulder. And I was like, ginger? Yeah. It was like my cat was tabby. So I was like, it was a tabby cat. That's so fucked up. They just saw a ginger cat and that was it. And I was like, oh my God, great. That's your version of what you saw that night.
That's amazing.
Saying all that, it was a very hard sell, because try explaining that to a theatre or someone else and going, oh, you have to see it, you have to witness it, you have to be there. It's
And
a hard
like,
sell.
yeah, and at least, like, I suppose with the Corn Exchange, they do have a reputation. But can you imagine if you were just doing that by yourself and you're like, no, but like, just give us the funding for it, because like that's what I feel like I'm doing that constantly when someone goes,
sure,
you know, I'm like, no, but like, it'll be good when we see it.
It's great,
you get it, and like, it'd be fab.
yeah.
But yeah, I can't like. And did you? Because was there like a sticky, like, not I don't know how long after Man of Valour we shot after, but I feel like around the time of after. So what was that? 2000 and, oh my God, I don't even know.
I don't even know.
16,
for me,
15.
time is.
I know we're old now. I was turning 30, so that was about.
Oh my God.
Like 6 or 7 years ago.
And
I remember because you were like, you were saying about turning 30, you're like, it's the best ever or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel around that time, was there a time where you were doing a lot of normal in inverted commas work and not a huge amount of action? Was there a point at some point where you were like, I feel like there was a time where you were saying, you were kind of going, oh, I would not happily step away from it.
Oh yeah.
But was there a moment of re-prioritizing everything?
Yeah.
Or did you have loads of them? Was that just I happened
loads
upon
of them,
that time?
Yeah. And it's interesting because, you know, hearing different actors and podcasts that I'm listening to, or anything creative really, now I have the kind of perspective I think is important. I guess to some people, it's important for me to talk about imposter syndrome. It's important. I don't feel like an actor. I don't feel like a writer. I don't feel like an artist. Like some people, I remember being in school and I sold a painting to a teacher. And it wasn't like whatever it was, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And she wanted me to do it. She commissioned me, which is sound, right?
Yeah.
I think she just encouraged me really. And she goes, now you can call yourself an artist because you're a professional. And I was like, oh, what? And then when I finished college, when I finished the Gaiety School of Acting, one of our teachers said, now you're all actors. You can now call yourself an actor. And I was like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I could never tell people. So I would always say I'm a PE teacher. It's mad. I still do. I still
even now.
Yeah. I said it to a neighbor the other day. And what do you do? How do you? And I was like, I'm a PE teacher.
Oh my God. Do you even do a bit of PE teaching?
No. With myself. Yeah.
I was like, that's just it's just an easier thing to say.
My friend who is a PE teacher said it's he said no one wants to know anymore. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're a PE teacher.
Everyone pretty much knows what that job is.
Yeah.
They're like, do you like dodgeball or?
Yeah. And then when someone says, you know, are you an actor? Or if you say I'm an actor, which I have done obviously a few times, but they go, you know, what have we seen you and blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
Which I know you're fermenting.
Yeah. And it feels to me that you have to try, not qualify, but you have to try justify.
Yeah.
Saying that, like admitting that, saying that, I do really admire people who just go, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
And I'm really good, or I'm an artist, or I'm a musician, I'm a singer.
Yeah.
I am blown away by people who do that. And you know, the confidence, the level of confidence in that is amazing. But for me,
have you gotten your confidence? Do you get your? Is there anywhere you do get your confidence? Like, would you get your confidence through? Well, it's very fleeting when you do, but through jobs that you get it, because you've gotten good gigs. Like, I wouldn't. If I was you, I wouldn't be ashamed to be calling myself an actor.
No, it's not. It's not the shame. It's just I just don't want to have to go, oh yeah, I was in that for. Yeah, I was in the first scene of that film or whatever. There's a film that's not gonna. It's a brilliant film called The Ritual that I did, and I was buzzing to get.
Yeah.
And Julie Hard cast it a couple of years ago and said, oh, come in, it's only a small part. And I was like, I don't care. I came in, and the director's like one of the best directors I've ever worked with. I got to go to Romania, work with these amazing actors and crew and all this kind of stuff. But I'm in the film for like all of 2.5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And I always have to explain that to people when they say, because it's really successful. It's on Netflix. Check it out. It's a really, really good horror movie.
Yeah.
And I'm in the first 2 minutes and then I get killed. It's not giving it away. It starts the story.
Yeah.
You know? And I seem to be the go-to guy. Well, at least I used to be the go-to guy to introduce the two main characters to the main plot. You know, I go, hey, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Enjoy your film and get killed. You know. So so having to explain that all the time, I don't know. It's maybe it's not confidence. I'm not sure what it is. I just couldn't be arsed sometimes, just going, oh, I'm in this, and I feel like I'm boasting.
Yeah, well, I was gonna, one bit, but I feel like you're quite pure. Now this is wanky. I feel like you're quite pure about what you do, like as in, like it is coming from a creative place. I don't feel like there's a lot of ego coming towards it from you, and I feel like when people start going, "What are you in? Would I know you from anything? Are you famous?"
Yeah,
You then have to bring the ego to it, and it feels a bit icky and gross and wrong.
For me, it feels like boasting for me. But for other people, when I see them doing it or putting themselves out there even on social media and stuff, I genuinely am going, "Fuck, that's amazing that they're just doing that." Fair play, even if they're shit, even if they're waffling, and it goes with the thing, Anyway, I just admire that in people, but I just can't seem to bring myself to do that a lot. The saying that when you own something that you do, like when you call yourself an artist, it's then easier to produce work, I think, in the long run, because so in my head I'm like, I'm an artist. I can't not be an artist. I've always been. I was drawing pictures before I could write. I'm always going to be an artist. But to say that out loud, I just feel like, oh, I don't know why.
And do you think you're good at what you do? Like, do you think you're good at,
yeah, I do. And this is the kind of, not conundrum, but maybe the I don't know what the word is. The flip side of it, where I've never doubted my ability ever. And that sounds cocky, and I feel really weird even saying that now. But in terms of, if I'm going in for an audition, even now, the only thing that will give me a bit of doubt is my preparation and whether I'm into it. Because some things you're not into it so much, but you have to learn a billion lines, and you're like, oh, I don't even want to do this, but I've no job, and you kind of do that. But I've never had a doubt that I should not be the person they cast, because I'm well aware that I'm not right for some things, and sometimes I do go, oh God, I'm not right for this, and I'm usually right with a lot of stuff, but I would never doubt that I would do a really fucking brilliant job. Not the best job. I think qualifying art is weird for me, but I do a brilliant job. So if I'm sitting in a waiting room, I'd look around and I always think, I'm one of the best here. Like, if you're qualifying, I just said no. But I am definitely, I should be here. I know it. It's a bizarre kind of conundrum I have. And same with going on stage. Same with, I remember in drama school, I was never in doubt, ever. Not one moment have I ever been in doubt that I am well capable of doing this. And I'm capable of being way better than I am now, ever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that I don't, or I have admitted that, but it's kind of weird that I don't, I wouldn't have it as my, I don't know. It's just.
Is it a way of keeping a separation between you and it? Because that sounds, to me, sounds quite healthy. To me, that sounds healthy, that you're able to keep yourself, that there's a distance between it, like as in, like, you're well able, you're really good, you're up there, you can be up there with the best of them, but then kind of the calling yourself an artist, the having to justify that is like, there's almost like a separation between that or something. It's kind of like that. It's a kind of a healthy confidence, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's why I'm still why I'm still doing this. Like, so why I'm still auditioning and going, being an actor.
Like, it sounds like you don't get your validation from the roles or from the people you're working with, or the gigs, or the
No validation. No. Yeah. I get a lot of enjoyment and a lot of other things and artistic expression through it. But I don't know. I'm a grafter, and I know that. And no matter what it is I do, if I'm in, I'm 1,000,000% in. And it might come out in different forms, but I will do everything. I'll stay in late. I always go in early. Always stay late. That kind of stuff. That kind of attitude. I try have. I can get lazy, like everyone. Yeah. Times when I'm just like, oh Christ, I have to learn this monologue. Yeah. Then most of the time I go, I can't believe I have a monologue. This is deadly. Someone has asked me to do a monologue. Yeah. I'm mad,
Because it is that funny thing with actors, they're bitching about when they don't have enough to do. And then when they're given something to do, it's like, oh my God, I'm so
what time's lunch? Yeah. Totally.
No, but it's insane. No, I think that's a healthy way to look at it. But does it affect other parts of your life then if you are going to give 110% to something?
Oh yeah.
Does it affect your, like, without getting too personal, but does it affect your outside relationships or friendships
100%.
or whatever thing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it does. Just time commitment, really, and committing to the project. You know yourself. Like you go, my whole week could change. My whole fucking year could change with a phone call tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I'm willing to take that call. You know, it's regardless. Do you want to go to New Zealand? Yeah, like it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now I don't have kids and I'm married, so I'm just obviously priorities change in different times of your life, but usually the commitment to the project.
Would that freak you out actually? If you do, like, does that freak you out, the thought of like one day? I don't know if you want children or anything, but like one day, like the idea of like, oh shit, like if I had a kid or if I had
no,
it doesn't freak you out.
No, not at all. No, that's just it's just then it changes. You know, then you adapt, you move and you adapt, and I think that's what particularly creative people or artists or actors, wherever, are really good at doing. I think that's why a lot of people have adapted really well to this time in the COVID times.
Yeah.
Because I think we're very, very used to moving and adapting. I've talked to a lot of friends who aren't in this business at all, and they have struggled and are really struggling. And I've just gone like, not a lot's changed for me. It's just that I know now nobody's acting, nobody's doing it, you know?
Did you find that gave you a bit of comfort knowing that none of us are working?
Yeah, it was like I refer to it as a race sometimes, and it's not a race. It shouldn't feel, but it feels that way, but it shouldn't. You know, it's a kind of weird thing where you might see someone pass you out, and you're like, "Fuck," you know, they got that thing or they got this thing, and that's natural and that's ego based and that's all that kind of stuff. But I just felt like someone just blew the whistle and went, of all the absolutely. I mean, it's a horrible, horrible time, but in your own little bubble, in your own little life, I felt massive comfort in knowing that someone blew a whistle on the race and everyone just got to just take a breath and go, okay. I felt like chasing a train and the train just stopped and we all caught it or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the analogy is, but I felt a lot. Did you feel that? It was just like, oh, that show's not happening, so I don't have to worry about will I get seen for it. Or,
it was a real leveler. And then like, it's that cliche of it was a real leveler. And I was like, none of us are working and we're all in the same boat. And now who are we? You know, like, because there's no hierarchy, because I think that there's such a little hierarchy sometimes. And particularly, I keep saying this, but I hate saying it, but in a small industry, because we do have a small industry and we all know each other. There is, you know, if you're kind of stepping up and you're getting things or whatever, it feels like a hierarchy and it feels like.
Totally.
And then the battle, like I'm shooting something and we're like a couple of episodes in and there's some to come, and the battle with my ego to go, do you know what? Like, it's just paused. Yeah. And hopefully the storyline will stay the same. And, you know, and they won't turn around and go, no, Amy, go home. You know, but like, and having to go, the worst in my head, what the worst thing could happen has happened, really. Yeah. You know, and, but it's kind of, it's great. And it's given me a bit more respect and a bit more compassion, I think, for people, for actors, for other
fellow
actors.
Big time. Because
go on.
No.
No, because I saw people who were getting a gig after they hadn't got one for ages, or who were really who were getting a gig that was like, they've moved on a step, or I know that means a lot to them. Yeah. And seeing that be pulled or cancelled was kind of like, a bit heartbreaking.
Because we all, we've been there, we know it, we know the feeling, and it is, I don't know what the fuck I was going to say there, but have I cursed loads?
No, I think I've cursed loads as well.
I think I have. I'm terrible.
No, and I seem to I seem to keep cursing, and it's very bad. It's actually horrendous. But yeah, like, was there any kind of low points in your career so far where you actually, apart from obviously you kind of were going to leave drama school at one point, was there any points where you doubted what you were doing or why you were doing it? Or
all the time. All the time. And this is the thing, it keeps I don't know why, it keeps me appreciating, I think, when I'm in something that I go, this is deadly. Like, this is deadly. Now, there was time, like, I've been in London a long time now, and I worked in a hotel for 2 years, 2.5 years maybe, and I was in and out of bits and pieces of TV work and stuff. There wasn't much theatre. I think I was going, I need a break from theatre, which I think is really healthy. People go, you're taking a break from theatre, like, why, I got a lot of attitude from when I was like, no, I just want to take a break, relax.
That's insane. And do you mean the theatre, like you were still open to doing filming work, you just wanted to kind of step back a bit from theatre, or just wanted
if it was theatre, I wanted it to be something special, and Jesus, something special came when I did Alice in Funderland. I was like, I'm not doing theatre, I'm not doing theatre. And we worked in the workshops for ages, and Wayne and Phoebe, their heads were wrecked, and not their heads weren't wrecked. They were asking me, like, do you want to do this or not? Because we have to go ahead and do all the casting. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Not doing theatre. I just didn't want to do anything. I was just moved to London. I made a commitment to be in London, and this would take me back, as I kind of saw it at the time, would take me back or something. I thought it was on a momentum.
You might get sucked. Yeah, you might get sucked back in.
Yeah, which is no bad thing.
No problem. People would be delighted to be. But I get you. And
then, of course, when I did this, that is still one of the highlights of my career, without a doubt. And I'm always reminded of that, going, Jesus, I can't imagine having not have done that. I don't know. I just can't imagine it. It was incredible. And, but then you come back to London, or you go back to your way of life, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing again? What am I doing this for? The highs are high and the lows are low. But that's what we got to navigate. And that's through compassion with each other and helping each other and just being kind with fellow actors who are going through some shit, Could be someone who's doing really well and they get cocky, and you can see them get cocky. You know they're going to have a low. So just be kind to them even when they're cocky. It's hard, but you just like, okay. And it's not patronizing. It's just kind of it's just we've been through it. I've been through it. I've gone, sorted. Yeah. I got a TV show. I'm going to be fucking minted and sorted now. And it's not reality at all. No. But I've stepped out quite a lot. But when I worked in a hotel, which I was going to say, they were two of my best years in London ever. Yeah. And I wasn't an actor. No one in the hotel knew I was an actor. Yeah. Apart from my boss. And he was so sound. He was letting me out for auditions and stuff like that, and it was just great. And I that kind of reset me. It was brilliant. Yeah. Whereas before that, I did Alice in Funderland. Then I came back to London, didn't have any work, and I got a job in a hotel up the road. And I loved it. I loved not being an actor. I love getting a weekly wage. I love the way of life, not having to think about the race or whatever. Yeah.
And did you feel like you would always go back to it? Like, obviously you didn't like you didn't officially quit or anything. Yeah. So, but it was kind of like, was it just like, I just want a brain break for myself here? Yeah,
and it wasn't happening for me either. There was nothing really happening for me in terms of jobs or interviews or whatever. I did Man of Valour at that stage, and I was in the Donmar, and I did really cool things that you'd like to think would be a stepping stone to something else, but it's just sometimes just another gig, and you take the experience, you take the friendships, you take all that crack that's from it. But career trajectory makes no sense in our business. Like,
and was that the point where you realized that, or was there a point? Because I've, definitely in the last few years, and people go, "Oh, this is your big break now." You're like, "There's no big breaks. Like, there's absolutely not." And I've done gigs where I go, "This is it now," or and no, nothing happens, or you might get. No, nothing happens. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not,
Totally. And even with Man of Valour, I was like, people were like, oh my God, because it was really like, a lot of people liked it. And so this is it. And I remember thinking, going, no, it's not. No, this is a play. Like, I'm not thinking of going, oh my God. Now, I wanted to get some heads in to see it, because it is just me on stage, yourself. You just going, I just want them.
To know what I can do.
Yeah, and to see how vast or the expanse of what you're capable of. Yeah. As I said to Annie at the time, I just wanted to like explode. And I got an opportunity to do that, and the Cornish Things gave me that, to explode on stage. And I wanted people to witness that from the industry. A lot of TV heads came in, because a lot of people who don't go to theatre came to see Man of Valour. Yeah. I was doing Raw at the time, the TV show, and loads of crew came in. Because I didn't even ask them, but someone said, like, well, let's all go in and see Paul's show or whatever. And it was amazing. And I still get stopped by crew sometimes. Go, remember your show and all.
Yeah.
Because I don't go to the theatre. First of all, crew don't have time.
Yeah.
But,
and also it's a risk as well. Theatre can be such a risk.
Oh yeah.
But that, like, you know, when you've only a certain amount of time, you don't want to go be putting yourself out there for something that's not great. But yeah, it seemed to kind of just hit all marks. Do you get bored of people? Because I assume people do say it to you. Like, do you actually get bored of people saying
all
it to you?
the time? It is pretty mad. It's one of those things that comes up more than anything in my life is that. And sometimes actually Alice in Funland as well. There's a song in that constantly comes back because it's a beautiful written song. It's gorgeous. And Self and Sarah, like,
was that, I was going to say, that a duet or something with these two?
Yeah,
I think I remember it.
I mean, it's so pure, actually. That's what it is. It's gorgeous, and they recognize that, and they whatever. It was just gorgeous. So there's that and Man of Valour come up a lot because it just sticks with people, and it's a feeling. I think the feeling sticks with someone, you know. And
did you feel that was actually a moment? Like, did you, like, because you know when you do a performance and you go, oh God, I got that. Like, oh God, I've reached my potential, but like, I've reached something that I really could only dream of reaching performance wise. And I feel like I've done that. Was that kind of a great confidence boost, or was it kind of like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to even get bigger. I'm going to get even bigger and better than that, you know? Yeah.
Well, with which one? Sorry, with,
sorry. I was just thinking about Man of Valour, because obviously it's such a solo experience.
Yeah, totally. It was, in every job I go into now, even now, I go, I did a one-man show, and it was really weird. I mean, do you think that way as well when you go, like, or do you think, oh God, am I good or not? Something. I just always go, I remind myself, I held an audience for a whole show, a one-person show, like.
I don't think I remind myself enough of that actually.
You should.
And
you wrote it, you know.
I
traded with the company. You wrote these, and not just one. So it's that kind of. I think they're really important things to remind yourself of. And to be honest, it was actually an old friend of mine who came in who's never been to the theatre in his life, and he came to Man of Valour, and he was talking to a lot of lads while we were up watching a match. This is years ago, and I remember him saying it, and out of nowhere he goes, you know, Rito's done a show, and they're all like, yeah, we know he's an actor. To all these lads, we kind of knew. He's like, no, it was just him on stage. And a few of them were going, yeah, no, we know. And he's like, no, you don't understand. And we're watching a match. He's like, it was just him on stage. Imagine getting up on stage. And the way he put it was really simple. Yeah. And I remember going, oh yeah, that is pretty cool. And it is cool. And I have to remind myself of that. And it's okay. It's not I'm deadly. That's okay.
Yeah. Because it's just a reminder that you have the capability in your body to do something like that, which is actually most people are very afraid of doing.
Yeah, and I think when you have achieved something, or when you've done something that you're proud of, it's okay to go, I was deadly in that. I was really good in that. And I was. Because I had the freedom, and there's loads of circumstances to do it, and it was directed, great, it was written, you know, all these different things. And I had a great team, but I have to go, no, my performance as the actor in that play, just as an actor, I was really, really good at that. I was great. And that's okay. You can say that. You don't have to be like humble all the time. I don't know. I think I'm thinking it might be, well,
I think you're also saying the support was there to enable you to be your best self, to be brilliant, you know, and that's why it's not cocky. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not going, I was brilliant, everyone else was shite.
But you're right though, everyone was at the top of their game, and that's really important. And you know yourself, you go into some things and people are just like phoning it in sometimes, and you're just going, come on, like but everyone was given license, not just license, but encouraged to go mad, like go fuck it, just do what you've always wanted to do. And that was my big thing going in. I want these artists to come in and each do individually whatever they do, whatever their preference and performance is, or whatever their job is, to do it the best thing they've ever done. Yeah. What's the point? What's the point of not doing that?
Anything, actually.
In anything.
What a nice kind of
point.
And just because that's such a nice note to kind of.
Oh, yeah.
What's the point otherwise?
I was going to say I've been waffling, but it's a podcast. I'm always aware of that.
No, it's great. It's brilliant because
Yeah.
I'm like, no, because that's a lovely kind of, which will bring me on to sort of, I guess, my final question, which is kind of always upsets me. It goes so fast. What does creativity mean to you?
What does creativity mean to me?
You can be as waffly as you like.
Well, I probably will be. As one of my friends called a voice note, I said a podcast. I just sent a voice note. It was like 50 minutes because I discovered how to lock the microphone on.
Oh yeah, that's a game changer. That is a game changer.
Excellent. So, sorry, what is creativity? Did Sean or did someone say freedom?
Yeah. Sean said freedom.
Yeah, because I think that's for me. And what was so freedom? Yeah, creativity gives me freedom. What's the question again?
Yeah, what does it mean to you? Like, what does creativity mean to you? Like, it's a pretty crap question because
it's not.
It can
it's
be
really,
perceived in many different ways. But that's
why
kind of why I like
question.
it.
That's why it's a good question. And I no doubt I'll hang up and go, oh, that's what it does. It gives me, freedom for fucking sure. I don't want to say it relieves me. I don't know what the other word. I'm so bad at words. But
release, well, like heals you almost, I guess. Like
it definitely heals me.
Yeah.
It gives me. Oh Christ! I'll think of the word as soon as we hang up. But it lets me. I don't know. It helps me live. I can't live without it. I can't not.
Yeah.
Be creative. I've tried. I've actually tried, and maybe I might be diagnosed as what's not OCD. I don't even know the fucking word for it. And people just do a million things at once.
Oh, like ADHD.
ADHD.
Yeah. Just any letters like IBS or
yeah. HDMI. That's one.
Yeah.
No, whatever. It gives me freedom. It gives me pure freedom. That's what it is, and it's
helps you live, helps you heal.
Helps me
from
heal.
From what you're saying. Sorry, I'm just picking up on the little bits here, and you can't live without it, I guess.
I can't.
Well, it's in you. Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's in you. It's just part of you, really.
Yeah, from day one. Like particularly with the art and the drawing and stuff like that. So. And music as well. I'm finding more and more as I come in. The singing gives me a release. That's what freedom. That's what creative. A release. It gives me a release of whatever's happening in the world, whatever's happening in my life. Yeah. It releases me from that.
Yeah. So. I just couldn't agree more. I feel the exact same. It's so funny. The more of these chats I have, the more I realize we all feel the same things. We just have a different way of expressing it.
Yeah,
it's so interesting.
And a different way of going about it when we were talking about people, bigging themselves up or advertising themselves, and all that stuff. People have a different way of doing it. People apologize, going, "Oh, I don't put much work stuff online because I just don't like it. I just don't. But I'd love to just go." Oh, yeah, this, that, and the other. Now I'll put this up online that I did this.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it first.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
make a few chops or something. Yeah. Actually, that's true because I went for a cheeky Google there before. I was like, I wonder is there anything now I don't? Is there anything I don't know about Paul?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the CEO of the HSE.
Getting such abuse over that.
Oh my God! Every time he's on the radio, Paul Reid, and I'm like, go away, Paul. Why are you here?
Yeah. Rob from Treasure, Rob Bopo, he was slagging me over that. He was like, "Are you going to sort the country out or not?" And I was like, "You've no idea." Like that day, I don't know what he did because I'm in London. Yeah. I got about 1 million texts going, "Sort the country out." I'm like, "What?"
Like, okay. I'm sorry.
My time.
That's hilarious. But yeah, thanks for coming on. And I think, I'll be wrapping it up in my little outro. But I just think you just it's really nice because. It feels like you not that you have it sussed, but I just feel like you're coming from a really good place for your creativity, and it feels like you've learned a lot in the time. And I just love the way that you are able to create that distance between yourself and your art. And I think it's so healthy. And I think a lot more people could benefit from it. And I also like what you said about being kind and paying it forward, because I think we don't do that enough, because I think we're kind of set up for this kind of competitive shite.
Exactly. That's
bullshit.
yeah. And it is like, look, we're in a business where, you know, two people are going for one part. One of you's going to get it. It's set up as an X Factor competition type of shite.
Yeah.
And we know deep, when we think deeply, that's not how it happens. An audition is isn't that. You're going in, you're presenting your art.
Yeah.
And it's up to the person to see it the way they want to see it. It's, you leave your art in the room and you leave. I think Bryan Cranston said something similar.
Yeah.
I described it as a sculpture one time, going in and you know, they go, okay, here's your instructions. Can you do a head? Can you do a head with a big nose?
Yeah.
Okay. And you go into the audition, you bring it in, you put it on the chair, and you go, there you go. And the director, whoever, casting director, is, oh, cool. Can you make the nose bigger? And you're like, yeah. Can you make the ears bigger? And you're like, oh shit, that's hard. I'll try to make the ears bigger. And then they go, okay, cool. And you leave it there. You walk out, just leave it in the room.
Yes.
And you walk out. It's the same as ripping your script, which I do it every time I leave an audition. I just rip it up and put it in the first bin I see.
That's a great tip.
And you leave your art in the room. And let them decide. And that means you've ownership over it.
Yeah.
You feel a sense of ownership over it.
Oh.
It's hard though, because you know you come out.
No, but I'm like, what a brilliant note to end on. That is exactly what it is.
I thought we did end. Sorry.
No, but I'm like, that's a brilliant note to end on, because it's such good advice. And it makes so much sense. And I really hope everyone takes that. And actually, I do tend to throw my scripts in the bin, but I'm going to actually fucking rip it up and throw them in.
And send a picture to someone. That's what me and my friend did for years. Sent a picture to each other.
Brilliant.
Fuck it in the bin. Done. Got that done.
Exactly. Because you've just presented. I've presented my art. There you go. If you didn't like it, that's your prerogative.
It's up to you. That's you're an artist as well. You see it in different light. See it.
Yeah. Paul Reid. What a great man and great pal you are. Thank you so much.
We never talked about after. I wanted to talk about. We'll talk about.
We'll talk about after. After is the short film we were in together, but we'll talk about that all.
Written by Amy and shot by Sean, or shot by Piers and directed by Sean. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get on to that next. That'll be round 2. I'll have to have you back. Thank you, Paul. No apologies. Thank you so much. So there you have it, Paul Reid. I just enjoyed that chat so much. I resonated with basically everything he said. And even just the way we were chatting about paying it forward, which I think you can really forget in an industry like ours, and how important that is. And in true Paul style, at the end of the conversation and in subsequent messages afterwards, he was raging that we didn't get to talk more, or at all really, about After, which was the short film that I wrote that Sean, a previous guest, had directed, and Paul was playing one of the lead characters in. So I promised him that I would link After the film in all of the material to do with this. So yeah, have a look and see what he can do, because he's a mighty performer, and you know, I think he's a special guy. So enjoy After short film after this podcast, if that's what you want to do. If you are enjoying the podcasts, please subscribe to the page, or like us on Instagram, or rate and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube. I'm going to be doing a few more of these and then wrapping up season 1 quite nicely. But until next week, have a great day.